Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. On the Mridanga, we have Surpa Prabhu Haridor, the backup singer, and Prabhupada dresser Bhakti Khan, and none other than Tulsi Maharani. Yeah. Hare Krishna. All right. Good morning, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we're reading from Canto 6, Chapter 15, verse number 16. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 15, 16. 6, 15, 16. We do the Sanskrit. Tasmad yuvan kramya pasor mama mudha diya prabhu anditamasi magnasya gyanatipa udiryata. Tasmad yuvam kramya pasor Mama Mudha Diya Prabhu Panditamasi Magnasya Jnanatipa Udiryatam. Word for word, Tasmat. Therefore, Yuva. Both of you. Gramya Paso. Of an animal like a hog, pig, or dog. Mama, me. Muda Diya, who am very foolish, due to having no spiritual knowledge. Prabhu, O my two lords. Ande, in blind. Masi, darkness. Magnasya, of one who's absorbed. Jnana Deepa, the torchlight of knowledge. Udiryatam, let it be ignited. Okay. Translation. So this is, if I'm not mistaken, Chitraketu addressing Gira Muni and Narada Muni, right? Yeah. So these two sages, he's addressing them. So translation. Because you're great personalities, you can give me real knowledge. I am as foolish as a village animal, like a pig or dog, because I am merged in the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, please ignite the torch of knowledge to save me. Please repeat. Because you're great personalities, you can give me real knowledge. I am as foolish as a village animal, like a pig or dog, because I am merged in the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, please ignite the torchlight of knowledge to save me. Report. This is the way to receive knowledge. One must submit oneself at the lotus feet of great personalities who can actually deliver transcendental knowledge. So I was thinking, before I read this purport, I was thinking, I have all these podcasts nowadays, like podcasts with this person, that person, and different interviews. And the idea is, okay, you're interviewing someone who has, something meaningful to say. Um, and so just think if Srila Prabhupada was on a podcast and Prabhupada is asked some question about the guru. So this is directly Srila Prabhupada's directly Prabhupada giving us this knowledge. So I found this kind of helped me to like really uh, absorb and appreciate these purports more. Just reminding oneself that okay, this is Srila Prabhupada, completely pure, empowered devotee of God, sent with this mission, and now he's going to tell us, how he's answering the podcast inquiry about the spiritual master. Okay, purport. This is the way to receive knowledge. One must submit oneself at the lotus feet of great personalities who can actually deliver transcendental knowledge. It is therefore said, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jignasur Shreya Uttama. Quote, one who is inquisitive to understand the highest goal and benefit of life must approach a bona fide spiritual master and surrender unto him. End quote. Only one who is actually eager to receive knowledge to eradicate the darkness of ignorance is eligible to approach a guru or spiritual master. The guru should not be approached for material benefits. One should not approach a guru just to cure some disease or receive some miraculous benefit. This is not the way to approach the guru. Tad vijnanartam. One should approach the guru to understand the transcendental science of spiritual life. Unfortunately, in the age of Kali, there are many bogus gurus who display magic to their disciples. And many foolish disciples want to see such magic for material benefits. These disciples are not interested in pursuing spiritual life to save themselves from the darkness of ignorance. It is said, Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Quote, I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. End quote. This gives the definition of the guru. Everyone is in the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, everyone needs to be enlightened with transcendental knowledge. One who enlightens his disciple and saves him from rotting in the darkness of ignorance in the material world is a true guru. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakuchatan Sakana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Shah Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. Because you're a great personality, you can give me real knowledge. I am as foolish as a village animal, like a pig or dog, because I am merged in the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, please ignite the torch of knowledge to save me. So we're seeing here some of the general etiquette, etiquette of how to receive great personalities. It's natural that when one is properly treated, properly received, properly given nice words and respected, then it's natural for the person that's being given that they'll want to give more. It's like, for example, the cows, the nicer, the better you treat the cows, the more they want to give milk. So in a similar way, there's certain etiquette, certain formalities for receiving great personalities, hosting great personalities, and endearing great personalities to you so that they can give you this ultimate benefit. So like it said that when a highly exalted personality goes into a home, then all the household affairs should stop because you know it's not that this is just this is just an ordinary guest, and I'm not going to alter my daily activities to host them. No, all the household activities stop just to cater to this personality. I remember when His Holiness Radhanath Swami came here. We were, I remember Parijata called a meeting, spontaneous meeting with an announcement, with a special announcement. So that was the message that we got. And then, so we were all wondering, like, what's the announcement going to be? And maybe we should do that for all our meetings. Just say, special announcement today. Anyway, so everyone was there, curious, before everyone was talking. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? And then the announcement was that, yes, His Holiness Radhanath Swami would be visiting in a few days. And it was just like, I just spontaneously was like blurted out like some like weird sound or something. I was just so shocked. Um, and then when Maharaj came here, you know, to show as an example of this principle that I'm talking about of hosting great personalities, who took care of him? Who personally took care of him? None other than our temple president, Dhruva Maharaj Prabhu. So showing that, yeah, when a great personality is there, uh, you you give due respect, and then when they feel that respect and that love and that you know appreciation for being there, then they'll give knowledge. So that's what we're seeing here. Chitraketu is so grateful in this way. Okay, so in the purport, obviously we have the overarching point is uh, this idea about the spiritual master, and um, the spiritual master's ability to dispel darkness. So the it's very rare, like just the human form of life, in itself is very rare. If you consider, okay, 8,400,000 species of life, and then um, the human form of life, say, is 400,000, and even some of those aren't like necessarily so civilized per se. Uh, so yeah, for one to um, get a human form of life in itself is very rare. I think I heard the example. It's like if there was a piece of driftwood going through the ocean and a turtle happened to put its head through that, a turtle happened to stick its head through that hole in the driftwood. That's like the rarity of getting a human form of life. So it's rare. It's rare. Like we should remind ourselves, yeah, how rare this human form of life is. We might think, oh, it's just something that happens, like like you know, as sure as the sun will rise, that's as sure as we'll get a human form of life. Well, yes, I mean, eventually, yeah, through transmigration, everyone will get a human form of life. But it's the length of time that it will take um, is what makes it so rare. Um, so yeah, so that's why we hear, so many bhajans and stuff talk about this rare human form of life. been gifted this human form of life. And then now, yeah, and then now, uh, as humans, we're walking amongst all the whatever it is now, 8 billion humans. Um, but how many of them, actually come in contact with the spiritual, with, you know, genuine spiritual knowledge? Um, like, but it's amazing. But book distributors can go out, like it, as a book distributor, you go out, and it's rare if you find someone that says, "Oh, I got these books," or "I met someone." Okay, maybe you'll meet, like, an average, from my experience, maybe two people in a day, depending on where you go, but let's say on average, two people in a day that'll say, "Yeah, I actually a I met a devotee before. Someone offered me these books. I got these books." But for the most part, most people out there, um, yeah, haven't been in contact with these books. Um, so it's rare that like, somehow, we were able to even uh, come across these teachings, to get the human form of life, and then now to come across these teachings, um, was very, very rare. And it's funny, sometimes on book distribution, you'll meet someone, and they'll know that this is like a significant event, you you meeting them, and they'll say, "Wow, usually I when I walk this way, I always, like, go to the right of the street, but then somehow today something told me you should go left. You should go left today around this street." And I went left, and now I'm meeting you, and so I know that this is a special occasion. Um, so it's rare that one, yeah, is able to come in contact with the devotional process. And then, how many people, uh, just just um, come, say, "Oh, this is nice," and then just leave, like, for whatever reason. Like, I remember, even, yeah, when I first joined, and I stayed in the ashram for 1 week, and then I knew, and then I felt I'm ready now. I got my spiritual training, you know, I'm ready to go conquer the world with my newly enlightened, upgrade. So after 1 week in the ashram, I thought, okay, now I can go out. And yeah, and like, I think with probably before the sun set that same day I left, I was already back to my old habits. Just like that, just like that. So people might come in contact with this knowledge, but uh, how many actually stick? How many, how many actually will stay with it? And so many times in those initial years, it was like, I had this idea. Now I'll go back to my hometown, and I'll try to convince all my friends to become devotees. Um, I think secretly I just you know, missed them, missed my friends, and probably some of the activities we used to engage in. But so I told, my mentor that, yeah, I want to go enlighten my friends. I feel like I'm just hiding the wisdom, being greedy about the wisdom. And then he's like, "I don't know, man, he sort of said, my experiences when I went, I thought all my friends would be into this knowledge, but then when I went and shared it with them, they weren't actually interested at all, at all. So then he said, better you just stay. So okay, stay. So like that, so many opportunities, are, come up to try to lure lure the devotee away from the process, especially in those initial years. Um, but then, yeah, sometimes you can stick with it, and then uh, those fortunate souls who are able to stick with it, and then uh, meet a spiritual master. Now that's, yeah, how rare that is to um, come in contact with someone who you're like, okay, I want to take initiation from this person. Like the first time first time I met my spiritual master, it was so powerful. We were we were traveling around, stopped at the Dallas temple, and it was Guru Puja time, and this Swami sannyasi came in. I'd only met a few sannyasis at that time, but this sannyasi came in and was just like, I don't think he was leading the kirtan, but he was um he was dancing with us, and I was like, wow, this is cool. I kind of had like a more like, oh, they like don't move. They like don't move their body quicker than like a slow pace. And then here this Swami is like dancing with us, and we were just like dancing around him. And then he gave class, and he was telling all these Sankirtan stories because he knew we were all Sankirtan devotees. He started telling all these Sankirtan stories, and immediately I was like so attracted that, wow, this person. And yeah, it was kind of embarrassing, but I wanted to go up to him and say something, but right before Guru Puja, I think I tried to Brahmin drink some orange juice, and my skills weren't so refined at that time, so kind of got a, got a good amount on my kurta. So I was like, man, I really want to go talk to this great person I talked to, but I had like this huge orange stain on my shirt. I can't go talk to. Anyways, but then yeah, obviously got in contact with him later. So yeah, how rare it is one then meets a sadhu and uh, has that faith, has that trust in them that, yes, I want to accept this person as as my spiritual master, as my guiding light. Um, so like this, there's a verse that says, the attachment. If one will only take one's attachment than one has for people in this material world, like I don't know who people are attached to, like, well, yeah, I mean, people are attached to all sorts of people. Like I remember one time, uh, I approached this girl on Sankirtan. She was sitting down. She was alone. I thought she was alone. There wasn't anyone with her, but there was someone with her. She had a picture of her favorite rock star right in front of her. So when she was eating, the rock star was just like, you know, maybe she even offered it to him before, like, and she was eating his prasadam. I don't know. But and I said, "Oh, who's that pic? Who's that?" And she's like, "Oh, that's my idol. Yeah, my idol, my love, my yeah." So much attachment she had for this personality. So that verse is there. Oh God, sorry, I don't know where it is. I've heard it quoted. But yeah, taking the attachment that one has in the material world for in materialistic relations, and transferring that attachment to the sadhu. In that way, one can get the most benefit. Um, so yeah, gaining this for for the human to actually gain trust in someone, especially in Kali Yuga, so many so many of our uh, so quote unquote like authority figures have just let us down. But now to actually have faith that yes, I actually want to accept this person as my spiritual master. Wow, that's amazing. That's very rare. Um, um, and that's glorious. Like Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction, one of those purports, he says how uh, when when one accepts Krishna in that formal role, like when one takes that formal role, formal enrollment in the bhakti process, accepting a spiritual master, then Krishna considers him to be as good as himself. So Krishna considers the initiated disciple to be as good as themselves, as good as himself. So it's a very revered position, as Vaisheshika Prabhu says. The most revered title, the most revered title in the whole universe is, not it's not having like MBA after your name or PhD or whatever, blue. Uh, there's some like title they give you if you have a certain amount of YouTube followers. Yeah, not that. It's Das, the most revered title. Das or Dasi. Um, yeah, that's the most revered title one can have is to uh, have formally enrolled in as a servant of Krishna. That yes, Krishna, I I um, I want to show my love to you by doing this formality. Um, and uh, yeah, so one who does that, um, they're great. It's a great uh, great fortune to have that you know, opportunity to do that. Um, and so they have these disciples courses now. Now you have to take a disciples course to get initiated. And in the disciples course, a lot of it is telling you like, okay, what is the quality of a disciple? Sorry, what is the quality of a guru? Like, and there's historical reasons for having it uh, to educate devotees that this is a big life decision. So therefore, we want you to make the good choice, the right choice to pick someone who's qualified. So they tell you things like, don't accept the spiritual master just because he has a good voice or because he smiles at you nicely or um, because he has many followers like that. So they educate you on like what is a guru. Then someone was making a comment. They should have a disciples course which is teaching you how to be a good disciple. Like, how about that course? Um, because the yeah, the formalities are there. One may take that initiation, but now, okay, now you're a disciple, but now what are you gonna like? how sharp of a tool are you going to be for that guru? Um, um, like, but after my initiation, my guru has told me, like, okay, now let's see what Krishna will do with your tiny self. So hopefully something will happen soon. Um, but that's the point, is that okay, now what kind of disciple are we going to be now? Now that we've taken this process and so fortunate to come across the guru, um, now the onus is on us. Like, okay, now uh, now we should qualify ourselves. Um, I just read last night. Uh, Prabhupada says in a purport to the 13th chapter, says, through through a deliberate endeavor and through association with the great souls, one should advance in spiritual life, in the understanding of between matter and what is matter and um, so with great personal endeavor, one should do this. So we in yeah, so that's our mission. Okay, now you're a disciple. So now, like, become a good disciple. Like, become, you know, it's good if you have faith. Okay, if you have faith in the spiritual master, that's great. That's great. But it's not just that you have faith and then that's gonna uh, that's gonna that's gonna make the spiritual master dear to you. Like, someone comes up to you, oh, I have faith. Like, what's an example? I just can't think of an analogy right now. But yeah, now you take the next step, like become that qualified spiritual master, or sorry, become that qualified disciple. Um, so, like, I remember my guru one time in a project, and many of his disciples were there, and he was saying, who will I be able to trust? You know, like, I have a mission. I want my mission to be fulfilled. So, but who will I be able to trust? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Like who's going to be there that I can actually trust to, um, go to sleep at night knowing that, okay, this aspect of Prabhupada's mission is being taken care of. So yeah, who are you going to become the trustworthy uh, disciple of the spiritual master? Um, and that takes, yeah, that takes deliberate effort, both to keep oneself spiritually, uh, spiritually progressing and focused, and once, you know, not falling into Maya, of course, but also then, like, yeah, work, working on becoming a sharper sword. Um, and it may sound mundane in a sense, but uh, like we hear, yeah, okay, one has to come to the mode of goodness before one can actually transcend. And what can one do if one is still under these lower modes? Then what service will one be able to do for the spiritual master? So, uh, so yeah, becoming qualified as disciples. And I heard a nice quote a few days ago. It was if you only do what you like to do, if you only do what you like to do, like if you like eating ice cream, you like eating unhealthy or whatever, if you only do what you like to do, then you will come to not like yourself. Wow, amazing, huh? If you only do what you like to do, then you will come to not like yourself. Um, so like that, yeah. Disciple means discipline, like one who is disciplined, and one who's able to uh, arrange one's life. Just yeah, have his stuff together. Uh, like it's you know, and little things like okay, planning your day out properly, planning your week out properly. Uh, these little things can be so uh, just ways that we can okay, yeah, get our life together in order to be that proper instrument of the spiritual master. Um, you know, yeah, just sorting, yeah, sorting ourselves out to be that sharp tool for the spiritual master. Um, and yeah, I remember like my guru, he gave a whole at a retreat. He gave a whole class was on habits. You know, like given the point, like yeah, and he was quoting from kind of spiritualizing the lessons coming from this book, Atomic Habits, and where it's like, you know that book, Atomic Habits, yeah, where it's like, okay, your habits kind of, uh, the little habits you have, they add up and they make up who you are. Um, so in that way, so yeah, so many there's different tools are there. So how we can do this, how we can like, yeah, essentially get out of the mode of ignorance, you know, get out of the mode of passion, get into the mode of goodness where we're doing things properly. You know, I read Prabhupada, I read recently, he said, our life should be so shaped that our intelligence is always kept intact. So our intelligence is kept intact so we can, you know, properly discriminate in life. So I thought that was a very interesting quote. Um, um, yeah, so one in the mode of goodness, all one's gates of all one's body are illuminated. You know, one does things, you know, knowing one does uncomfortable things, knowing that it's poison in the beginning, but nectar in the end. Um, you know, one remains clean. One yeah, and one avoids, you know, when those modes come up, when those modes of passion, ignorance come up, like, oh, wow, oh, you know, I'm in the garden and if I just harvest like, you know, 50 more beets, then you know, you know, I'll have 50 more beets harvested, and you know, I can tell everyone I harvested so many more beets. So let me just do it. Then what by doing that, what are you doing? Then, you know, you're running over your time, and so then you're going to sleep late. Then, oh, it's too late. I can't wake up for Mangalarti, like that. Anyway, just a little example. But yeah, so it's to recap, I'm just making the point how rare it is to have this great opportunity to be accepted into this group parampara, be accepted by the spiritual master, and now we want to reciprocate with that mercy and be sharp tools in the hands of the spiritual master, and be qualified to uh, push on, carry on. Yeah, this we're all the link in the chain. Like, what was that? Oh yeah, there's that story Srila Prabhupada told his disciple, one of his disciples. He said, I want you to go somewhere that I haven't gone before. Or I want you to go preach where I can't preach. And the disciple was thinking like, Prabhupada, you've practically been everywhere, gone around the world like 13 or so times. Like, where's this place you're talking about that you want me to preach that you can't preach? And then Prabhupada said, in the future. So yeah, they are, they're the Vaishnava lives through his sound, but um, he needs the disciples to go out and actually be like conduits for that wisdom, and to like also share their own realizations. Um, so yeah, preaching, being the proper next, being the proper links of the Guru Parampara. Like, it's one thing that we can do that they actually, they are kind of in a sense depending on us to do, to be those future links. Okay. Anyways, I think I got exhausted at that point enough. So thank you very much. We have a few minutes left. If there are any questions or comments, please recommend. Okay, okay. Cyril Prabhu? Yeah. You.
First of all, thank you so much for a wonderful class. You brought a lot of wonderful points, which are very inspiring, especially this last point that you mentioned about disciple. The disciple means discipline. And this is actually correlation between discipline and habit. It's mentioned that discipline creates consistency. Consistency creates habits. And habits create growth.
Growth? That is great growth. Wow.
Yeah. So when we develop good habits, so we're growing. Without good habits, we cannot grow. As in context of this, what you explained.
Yeah.
So it is extremely important to take advantage of the guidance of saintly person. And as you mentioned, quoting this example from Srimad Bhagavatam, how rare it is, like totally go through this hole in the wood, in the ocean, contact with, come across with pure devotee of the Lord. And so this is like, I just want to repeat for myself to remember the beauty of this correlation between this discipline, consistency, and good habit and grow. I want to just point out, I know it is, yes, maybe there's still some few minutes. I just want to bring a subtle point of this first point that you mentioned about this humble expression of Chitraketu to Angira Muni. That you mentioned that this is like proper etiquette and formality to approach simply or exalted person, to inspire him to get some knowledge. With your permission, may I?
Yeah.
So we can see this formality, as you mentioned, can be perceived in material scenario and in another scenario. This material scenario is, as we can experience everywhere in this material world, somebody play to be humble and very polite, very gentle, very respectful to just to get something. So because there is material motive. If someone has some material agenda and is able to play, in diplomatic way, to get something according to his motivation. So then naturally he'll be very polite, very gentle, follow this etiquette, and we can call this as formality, just to get something what he's expecting to get. So if person who is not very exalted but has some position or something, then he can give what he is requesting, because there's some formality. However, if we take this situation to situation of on spiritual ground, so then we cannot play this game with exalted person, spiritually exalted person. Why? Because spiritually exalted person, of course, he is full of compassion. Naturally, he wants to deliver a message. He wants to deliver enlightening spiritual knowledge. But when he see that the person is not sincere, he's just playing. So this will go like water on the wall. There's no, no proper reception. Person need to become first purified by bhakti yoga process, by discipline, following all these different rules and regulations and process of purification. Then he will be receptive to get this knowledge. So this is called prakrita bhakta. If we have some material motive and approaching exalted person for knowledge, so this exalted person will not sometimes will not deliver this knowledge because he see that the person is not ready. It's just only play, artificial, humility and understand that. So and why we need, but in the case of Chitraketu, I understood that this is not just only formality, etiquette. He really feel inside of his heart so humble, comparing himself to this, hawk and dog, just to inspire the person and show him, I'm ready to receive knowledge. That's why.
Thank you. Yeah, point taken. Thank you for Granta Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki jai.
Govinda Adi Purusha Tamavajami Govinda Adi Purusha Tamavajami Govinda Adi Purusha
Jaya Radha Damodara Jaya Radha Ram Jaya Radha Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Sri Guru Charana Sama
Shri Guru Charanani
Sa Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Thank you for seeing. That is the city right now. celebrating the past with me, the past, the tendency. Someone goes to Yama. Here, where you with that, we go to see the profession, all woman, he is my Lord. From him, Saturn is mind, sure. The city is there. Very Lord, all my believer, in between all of the seas. The Lord, Jesus.
Okay. So this is Jana, if you're still there, thank you for quoting all the Shastic references that I should have been quoting.
You did great. Thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate you validating them through these through your studies are helping us all. So thank you.
Sure thing.